Okay, out here on the farm doing another project. It's the middle of May and we're on the east side of our property. And the area we're working on today has always been a great area. It's always had a lot of rutting activity. And throughout there's a ton of maple trees, and almost every single one of those trees have been rubbed throughout the years. And I'll kind of throw up some pictures of all the historical rubs. But it's all honestly kind of been overlooked. We haven't hunted it a whole lot. I have gotten here the past 2 seasons, and in both of those sits, I just found a tree in my saddle. But both sits I had good encounters with shooter bucks, and even got a shot at one of them, but didn't end up finding them. But the goal for today is just to kind of connect the dots and enhance this bedding area and get a better setup out of this. Out through there is kind of the natural buck bedding area. We won't have to do a ton of work in there. Naturally, it's already pretty good. We'll cut a few trees and make some beds out of there, but for the most part, a lot of the work's going to be done over here. Last year we came in here and Hinge cut this. The woods were just super open, and we kind of opened the canopy up and made it a lot thicker. But now we're gonna have to come in here and cut some trails through there and make more sense, and kind of connect this bedding area to that bedding area, and with the goal of trying to pinch them down here. And at least from a starting point, I think this is our tree. We'll see after it's all said and done, but I like this tree the most right now as far as the setup. Out there is just a hay field, and that's kind of our access. We'll cross the creek down there and just work the wood line down to this corner up the tree. So we'll have to do some more screening as well, so they can't see us walking down the wood line. But the main creek that runs through the middle of our farm is just on the other side of those woods. There's also a major creek crossing through there, so if we have time, maybe we can connect that crossing to these bedding areas as well. So this is kind of the layout and what we're working with, and we're gonna go get started. Okay, so a bit of an update. It's the next day. Yesterday I was able to get all the hinge cutting done, and I got back in here today to clean some things up and make some beds. And when I was doing that, I ran into this really big buck bed, and just wanted to show that. And last year we did some hinge cutting on the backside closer to the creek, and a lot of the trees fell up against this thick stuff and kind of created just this wall of cover. And there's been quite a few beds along this edge, but right through there is a really nice buck bed, and I'll show you guys that. It's just kind of underneath that tree in a little cave. And you can see over here, he's been browsing on all this. There's so much to eat back here. And when I found it, I kind of cleaned it up for him to make him be able to get back here easier. But right here is that's his main bed. He's got another bed back in there, another bed right here. But he can stand up right from his bed and eat off this stump sprout here. And every little thing is just nipped off. Even way up here, probably when it first started growing, he nipped that off, and then it grew up to that. And then back in there, he can browse all in that stuff. And if you get down in his bed, this is kind of what he's looking at. Just really thick, dense cover. This is a pretty bulletproof bed. He's really tucked in back here and super secure. But just going down this edge really and making more beds like this, because this is where the big bucks are going to bed, back in here, and then they'll work off that way. But gonna finish up here, and then I'll do a little walk around video showing all the trails and the setup and everything. All right, finished up this project. It is May 14th. Pretty happy how it turned out. Gonna go ahead and walk through all the trails. Right here is the shack food plot. We just sprayed it. It's about ready to throw seed on top of it. We got our little cell camera right here, little licking branch right there, and out here is the main exit trail. This is where it spits out into this food plot. We'll go ahead and walk down this trail. All right, and then over here it splits off, goes up there, and then up to our setup. We'll keep walking down this middle trail. It also connects to that other trail right here. Okay, and here's the main trail, cutting in between that bedding cut and that bedding cut. That other trail meets right there down there by our setup. If we keep walking over here, we screened this off, and there's a perimeter trail cutting on the backside through there that goes to the food plot as well. If we walk down here, this is where the main bedding starts. And we got a trail working the outside of it. We're also doing some edge feathering and screening over there. We tipped these trees. There's just a natural opening out here, and we kind of tipped some trees into it to make some more bedding. And they'll likely bed under here as well. Again, all this is going to be bedding. We don't really have to do a whole lot with it. It's already naturally thick and plenty of browse for them. We also tipped this tree over. They might bed under that one. I don't know if they'll bed under this one. It's not really in the shade, but they might bed up against it and everything. And then year over year, there's always a really big scrape underneath this oak tree. And it does shoot out there. There's the creek crossing over there. But if we keep wrapping around, I made some beds back in there up against that edge. There's some pretty good beds back in here. Kind of cleared it out for them. Pretty good bedding area right here. And then through there was that one big bed I already showed. There's a series of beds just up against this thick wall. And right here, we screened this off so they can't see the field. And then we kind of want them to hit this and come down our main trail. We tried to block it off. They might still skirt us and go down there, but there's honestly not a lot of reason for them to go that way. So hopefully they should come down this trail. And right here, this is where all three of those trails meet. And the ambush setup is right in that oak tree. We screened the field off. We'll have a big community scrape and licking branch right here. So you got a trail coming in through here. You got the highway trail in between the two bedding areas, and then that trail coming out of the main bedding. And it all meets right here. So overall, pretty happy with how it turned out. I think we definitely made this area a lot easier to hunt, and it should do a lot better in the future. But that's this project, and we're gonna go ahead and start working on other projects.